All right, guys, so Module 3 this week is where we're actually going to dive into the containers. So I touched on last week that you don't have to follow your calories. You don't have to count your calories per the day. She makes you use these containers, which makes it so much easier. So the first thing you're going to do this week is do the formula to figure out which plane you're in. And it will tell you which one you follow. So if you're in A, B, C, D, E, or F. And yes, I want you to follow these to which one the formula puts you in at first. Now, if it tells you you're in D and you're like forcing yourself to eat, you're over full, you're not even hungry and you're forcing yourself to eat, you can always drop down one. Or if you're hungry, don't go hungry. You can always go up one. So it's not stuck in the mud. But I do want you to follow it at first. Give it a few days at least to see, because the formula does work. But also keep in mind, if you're trying to gain weight, you're going to go up. Trying to lose weight, I wouldn't say go down at first, but the only reason you should go down is if A, you're not seeing results. But if you're not seeing results, take a step back and make sure you're actually following them and actually doing your exercises. And B, if you were like shoving your face and you're not even hungry and you're like about to get sick because you're eating so much. So figure out which plane you fall into, and then it will tell you how many you need of each container per day. So for example, for plan A, I would need 4 greens a day. So I would fill this up 4 times a day and eat it. I would need two purple a day. So 2 fruits, I would fill this up twice during the day and eat it, so on and so forth, whichever one you follow under. And I want you guys to tell me either under this video or under the post which one, where I ask, which one are you falling under. Where I want you to spend the bulk of your day today and this week is looking into these food lists. So she actually lists out several different foods. Now there are more that are not on here, but what Autumn does is she's going to list them from the most dense in nutrients to the least dense in nutrients. So if you're wanting the most dense veggie, you're going to eat some kale or some spinach or some collard greens. And then you can come down here in a pickle, salsa, sprouts, onions. Yes, those are vegetables, but they are less dense in nutrients than these up here. So if you're trying to get the best results, you're going to stay over here. But these also do count too. What she also does is she has a star by things that don't necessarily fit into a container. So for example, banana peppers. You could eat 3 medium banana peppers instead of actually slicing them up and fitting them in here. That would be about what would fit in here, but she's already done the hard work for you, so you can just eat them and enjoy them. She also has on there pluses and X's for if you were doing carb cycling. I know Kenzie was thinking about doing that, so look at that. The foods that she has plus marks beside, that is the ones that she tries to stay on, and the ones that she has X's beside, she does not eat if she is carb cycling. So for example, she would stay eating cucumbers, asparagus. She would not eat, she stays away from dairy. So yeah, cottage cheese, egg whites, yogurt, stuff like that is what she stays away from when she's carb cycling. Now, there is also things that you wouldn't think would be in the list that they are in. So I am a fan of Google. You can always Google which container it falls under, or look at these lists if you have it easily accessible to you. But I've also learned to like many different foods just by viewing these lists and learning about new veggies, new fruits, everything else, and getting new ideas. So when Clint and I are kind of bored with what we're eating, we'll grab back out this list and find some different things to put on our grocery list. If you are vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, any of those things, Module 3 is also going to dive deep into those. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but if you are one of those, please reach out to me. We will work one-on-one to make you a list. My husband does all these weird diets, so I am a professional at figuring out, like the month of March, he is going to go on a carnivore diet. So he's only going to eat meat. So whatever floats his boat. It's not sustainable, but he can do it. But she actually goes into the vegan containers, vegetarian containers and stuff like that. Now, she also is going to look at freebies and substitutions. So, for example, if I want a brownie, I'm going to eat a brownie. I'm going to count it as a carb. I wouldn't advise it every day, but do I normally eat something sweet every day? Yeah, I do, if we're going to be honest. And so your freebies are going to be stuff like seasoning. So if you're cooking a pork chop and you put some salt and pepper and garlic powder and stuff on there, you do not have to worry about that. You do not have to count that as a teaspoon. Seasoning is a freebie. let's see. She recommends not drinking more than 2 8-ounce cups of either coffee or tea or any caffeinated drink in a day. I'll go into the Coke spill later on because it hits home with me. I'm a Cokeaholic. I've done good since I've had this child. Herbal teas are allowed. Water is the most important thing. Okay, so Jessica is actually, and Jessica, if you'll share that bottle that you got, guys, I highly doubt if you drink as much water as you're supposed to. I know I do not. So Jessica got this cool container that is huge and actually keeps the drink cold because I'm picky and I like my water really cold. So she said it's working, so I'm gonna order one of those too. But it's actually gonna help her and all of us get our water intake in. So we're gonna do some water challenges throughout this 6 weeks and see who can hit their water goals for the day, because it's hard to do. It's a lot of water. But if we're all doing it, maybe we can hold each other accountable. All right, so then she goes over the freebies, coffee, tea, stuff like that. And then Shakeology, what to count if you're gonna use like coconut milk in there, or if you're using low-fat milk, if you're using whole milk, if you're using water, how to count your Shakeology. Now, with that being said, I use unsweetened almond milk, so it says I need to count it as 1 teaspoon. I don't keep up with my teaspoons, if I'm being honest. I just know I don't go overboard, but my Shakeology, I just count it as what it is. I don't count it as a teaspoon. I use unsweetened almond milk. Sometimes I will use low-fat milk, and if I do that, I do count it as a carb. But other than that, I don't worry about counting my Shakeology. Now, I do count it. I put greens in it. I do count it as my greens. I do count it as my protein, because it definitely is those 2 things. But I don't worry about doing that thing. And then substitutions, it's going to give you an example for treats. She recommends 3 per week. Take it for what it's worth. Do what fits your schedule and your lifestyle. She talks about frequently asked questions. I'm going to let you guys read those yourself, because it may be a question you have, it may not be a question you have. Cravings. I will say cravings, Shakeology has curbed my sweet tooth. I still have it. I still want something sweet, and when I do, I drink my shake. That satisfies it most of the time. If not, dark chocolate chips are my weakness. Okay, and then module 4, she's going to talk about actually going grocery shopping, which I absolutely love watching her grocery shop, because it opened my eyes so much, and I catch myself every time I'm in the grocery store thinking back to this video. So make sure you watch that. I will go over it maybe Thursday. I think that's it. I feel like that was really fast. But if you don't have the containers and you want them, please let me know. I will get you hooked up. I think that's it. My brain's not really working because I don't sleep much these days. But if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm ready to start incorporating these. And that's if once you figure out your baseline, if you want to start trying to do them, you can. We can start implementing those. We're going to work on meal prepping towards the end of this week too. So that will be helpful as far as that goes. Just use these to measure. And when you measure, she will go over this, but if you haven't watched the videos yet, when you measure, don't go over. You should be able to fit the lid on there. So like when I measure my salad, I'll put it all down in there, and then you should be able to fit the lid. Same thing with dressing. You shouldn't be overflowing. So I think that's it. Keep up the good work.